National Congress, viva! Viva the African National Congress, viva! Can we give our president a loud shout? Welcome, Comrade President, welcome! Welcome, Comrade President, welcome! We love you, Comrade President, we love you! Amandla! Comrades, I'm now immediately giving over to our chairperson. Comrade JJ, can you come to the floor, please? Amandla!
Amandla! Amandla! Amandla! Amandla! Amandla! Amandla! Amandla! Amandla! Amandla! Amandla! Amandla! Amandla! Viva ANC! Viva! Viva ANC! Viva! Viva SACP! Viva! Viva SACP! Viva! Viva COSATU! Viva! Viva COSATU! Viva! Amandla! Long live President Ramaphosa! Long live! Long live President Ramaphosa! Long live! Amandla! Thank you very much, comrades. The Deputy Chairperson of the province, Comrade Sharon Davis, members of the top 5 elected, and convener of the NEC deployees, Comrade Barbara Chrissy, and NEC deployees, Comrade resident NEC members, Comrade Ronaldo Nalumango, Comrade Noneba Mhlaul, Comrade Thandi Mambe Hlala, she had to leave. She has a trip to China. Thank you for your attendance. Veterans of our movement, alliance partners and MDM formation, regional leaders and branch delegates. We have come to an end of the 9th Provincial Conference, a journey that began with our internal democratic processes in branch general meetings. The 9th Provincial Conference, a parliament of branch delegates throughout the province, has concluded successfully. We want to thank the IPC for delivering on its mandate. Though it was not easy, they have done wonders. We must further thank delegates for their discipline they displayed throughout this conference. Our conference was not characterized by controversy. We have outdone ourselves. All engagements in the conference were dignified and matured, including on sensitive matters of credentials. We were able to pull through as a matured collective of the province. Comrades, as the new leadership, we are humbled by the confidence you have shown in us. We are further humbled by the responsibility bestowed on our shoulders by the membership of the ANC. We want to assure you this confidence you've shown to us, we don't take it for granted. We don't take your support for granted. We commit to be servants of our branches and communities. In this regard, we commit to rotate all our PEC meetings in all 6 regions of our province. This will be done for the purposes of connecting with our branches and broader communities. The PEC will be required to do political work in regions, and fellow travelers will not be tolerated in this PEC. Comrades, the era of task teams in the province must come to an end. With this conference concluded successfully, we must now speed and with urgency convene the regional conferences of Dala Omar and Victor Molosi. These two conferences must take place on or before the end of July this year. Comrades, at the same time, we must assist all our leagues in their political work, including convening of their conferences. No structure of the ANC and its league must be led by a task team, especially as we enter the election campaign. Delegates, there are many pressing issues confronting us as we close this conference. We need to agree about what is required to deal with these pressing issues. We need to go back to basics, but not as a slogan. First thing first, when we leave this hall, through that door, we must all leave behind our lobby groups here. Leaders of various caucuses and perspectives are instructed to disband them now. For their purpose is over. We must remove from our vocabulary terms like Rural for Change, RRU, 406, JJ for PS, and all other unorganizational terms. We must be ANC members, all of us. The divide on preferences of leadership is over. Our preference is one, is the African National Congress. From here, comrades, we must go back to our structures and report about the outcomes of this conference. Engage our alliance partners on the outcome of this conference at all levels. Prepare our structures for the election work. We will have to convene a provincial election strategy workshop and get ready our election machinery. This conference has re-energized us after 4 years of lull. Its resolutions must serve as a guide to action. Comrades, this elected leadership has a responsibility to unite the province beyond factional divide, and we are ready for that task. Please, comrades, keep us accountable. A healthy ANC in the province depends on our unity and our common commitment to its program. Lastly, Comrade President, on behalf of the entire membership of the ANC in the province, we want to thank you, President, and the collective of the NEC for being patient with the Western Cape. Since you installed the IPC 4 years ago, you were never irritated with us. You hold our hand, yourself, President, together with your collective until this far. Please convey our best thanks to the National Executive Committee. You have acted as a parent to us, President, and the NEC. Here we are today. We are no longer called conveners and coordinators. We are an elected leadership. Thanks to your leadership, President, and the collective of the NEC, we will always be indebted to the work we have done for our province. Moreover, we want to assure you, President, that this elected leadership will deliver, after 4 years, a healthy ANC to a provincial conference. We will refuse any temptation to be disbanded for not performing our work. We will act in unity and as one body as this PEC. And we wish all delegates who will be traveling safe journey. The task ahead is huge. As I said earlier on, isikhathi samapopa isiphelile manje. Amandla! Comrades, let us all rise and sing a revolutionary song and welcome the President of the ANC to close our conference. Thank you very much, President.
Amanda! Viva ANC, viva! Viva COSATU, viva! Viva SACP, viva! Vuka Sanko, vuga! Amanda! Forward with the Western Cape, forward! Comrades, it's wonderful to be here in your conference and to be in the Western Cape. And it feels good to be back home after Ukraine and Russia and Paris. So now I'm really glad to be back home. Members of the National Executive Committee, members of the newly elected top 5, Comrade JJ, and those who are going to work with you as the officials, as well as the incoming Provincial Executive Committee, whose members we don't know yet, but who we will know soon, I hope. Leaders and representatives of our leagues, Veterans League, the Youth League and the Women's League, alliance formations, delegates and all of you comrades, and of course members of the media who are also here. Indeed, comrades, it's a really great pleasure to be in the conference of the ANC in the Western Cape. I hear that the conference has gone well from beginning to end without any hassles. And congratulations to you all. that much as there were some expectations in some places that not chairs would be flying, but maybe bottles would be flying, and people would be arguing, and there was nothing like that. To a point where they are disappointed. And some were even had to be saying, this conference is boring, there's no action here. So I wish to commend you all and congratulate you for holding a most successful conference, and also to setting up a really good example in the whole organization, that you've been able to hold a conference with no controversy, no tension. Comrade Supra Mahumapelu was saying it was impossible to find any tension in this conference, including when you were electing your top 5 leaders. People were looking for tension, there was no tension. Congratulations, comrades. After a long period of instability as well as uncertainty within the structures of our movement, you've been successful at having this conference, and we now look forward to how you are going to advance the process of unity, of renewal, and the revitalization of the ANC here in the Western Cape. I want to especially endorse what the provincial chairperson has just said, that all those groups, whatever they were called, JJ, whatever, 406, R46C, I don't know what R4C stands for. It can be Ramaphosa for Cyril. And CD23, TM23, that all those end here and today. When you go back home, they no longer exist. All that exists is the African National Congress United here in the Western Cape. And comrades, we are also holding your conference on the eve of the anniversary of the Congress of the People, which was held in Kliptown 68 years ago, on the 26th of June in 1955, when our forebears met in Kliptown to adopt the Freedom Charter, which has been the foundation document which has shaped the future of our country and also has been the cornerstone of our Constitution. It is therefore appropriate that the resolutions which you are going to have to deal with at a later stage when you finalize your conference process, that we should continue to advance the vision of the Freedom Charter to build a South Africa that belongs to all who live in it, black and white, as the Freedom Charter said. We expect the outcomes of this conference to give further meaning to the call that all national groups, as set out in our base documents, shall have equal rights, that the people shall share in the wealth of our country, and that there shall be peace and friendship. This conference, comrades, has had to confront many challenges. It has had to reflect very critically on the state of organization in the province. And I'm glad that you ran and concluded your branch AGMs, which shows that, yes, the organization is alive, the organization is breathing, and we have a foundation upon which we can build a very strong ANC here in the Western Cape. And it is a foundation on which we can build a cohesive ANC, much as we have had to address our own internal organizational challenges over the period of the IPC. And I want to also reiterate our congratulations to the IPC as led by Comrade Lerumo. Congratulations for the work that you have done up till now. Yes, you are right, Comrade JJ, we were patient. We knew that you would reach this moment. And we are very proud as the NEC that you indeed have reached this moment. We also congratulate the NEC deployees who have helped to guide your process of preparing for this conference and the political issues that we had to deal with. Comrade Barbara Creasy, thank you very much, together with all the other deployees who have worked with you to get us to this point. So, comrades, in approaching these various tasks, this conference has been guided and has had to be guided by the January 8th statement, which was released by the NEC earlier this year. In explaining the roadmap 2032 we adopted at the 55th conference, we said central to the ANC roadmap is the understanding that the ANC will only succeed in realizing its strategic objectives when it confronts its subjective weaknesses and successfully transforms itself into a renewed, responsive, modernized, well-governed, well-resourced, ethical, caring, and effective political formation. We don't have the time now to unpack all those key elements. And it continued to say, as we build an outward-looking ANC with a clear program that is responsive to meet the needs of our people, all ANC structures must focus on putting our people and the solutions to their daily struggles first. The journey, it continued, of renewal has to begin in earnest and become unstoppable and also become irreversible, so that we pay attention to and direct all our energies to the resolution of the pressing challenges and problems facing the people of South Africa. That's what we said when we ended our 55th conference. In other words, we need to fix the problems inside the ANC so that we can more effectively work to address the challenges facing our people. The ANC itself, having fixed its own problems, can then be the trusted leader of our people, the leader of society. It is primarily through working together to meet the needs of the people of South Africa that we will be able to build a stronger and more united organization. Now, at the center of the renewal of our movement is the task of building branches as centers of strength, centers of cohesion, and centers of an ANC that is prepared, willing to work for the development of our communities. Now, the fact that you've succeeded, comrades, in getting to this point, holding your branch meetings and preparing for this conference, to me it basically means that the renewal process is firmly underway. It means that we have embraced renewal, and the fact that you've also been able to hold a conference without all the various tensions, confusion, upheavals that sometimes happen in some of our conferences means that indeed you have taken the task of building the ANC. And as I was saying, comrades, you are setting a very good example. You are amongst the last provinces to hold your conference, but you've also shown that being last also means that you can do things best and much better than we have seen around the country. So I was saying to Comrade JJ and the others, I was saying the Western Cape can therefore teach our other provinces an important lesson. And today, the various provinces that will be looking at you in the way that you held this conference have a lot to learn from you. And I will be the first to tell them what they should be learning from you. So that is very good. Now, the 55th National Conference also recognized that the restoration of the vibrant organizational life of our branches is an urgent and vitally important task of the moment. So this provincial conference has looked at how to revive the activist base in the province, to champion, to get our branches to take up and champion local issues, issues that mean a lot to the lives of our people, and to close the gap between the ANC and the communities that it is dedicated to serve. It is, comrades, at branch level where new members are recruited into the movement, and I'd like to see you embarking on an active process of, yes, bringing in more members. You know, various branches are no longer paying attention to recruiting more members. Sometimes, once we get to 100, we seem to be happy and satisfied. That must end. We want branches that are going to grow and demonstrate the real strength of the ANC at the community level. It is at branch level where these members are inducted into the values and the politics of the ANC, where they develop organizational skills and where they can impact most on the issues that affect our people. Strong, active branches, comrades, are essential both for internal democracy and for ensuring that the ANC remains engaged with broader society. Without strong, active branches, the ANC will be like a hollow vessel. And a hollow vessel can appear from the outside to be large, and it can appear to be strong, but a hollow vessel is an item that has no substance. An effective organization needs a strong foundation, strong pillars, and strong structures, and strong, capable structures that have capable, ethical comrades who have a deep understanding and are grounded in the values and the history as well as the practices of our movement. But we also need leaders. And all of you, most of you who are here, are leaders. Leaders of our branches, and your delegates who have come from our branches. We need leaders who have the confidence and the trust, not only of our membership, but the people that the ANC serves, where we have come from. We need leaders who do not owe their position to factionalism, to patronage. We need leaders who have not relied on gatekeeping. We need leaders who have been chosen on the basis of their own strength, but also on the basis of their standing, both moral and ethical. It is our responsibility as a movement to attract into our ranks those people who are most committed to the cause of national liberation, to develop them into capable leaders, and to hold them to the highest standards of democratic values and accountability. We must be clear that, comrades, leaders who do not have all the key attributes that are set out in our constitution can be leaders who divide rather than unite. So we want leaders who are going to unite this organization, not leaders who have divisive tendencies, who as they act or do things or even as they speak will only be able to divide us. So we want leaders who will unite the African National Congress, not divide the African National Congress. We don't want leaders, comrades, who are just interested in power, in access to resources, in advancing their own standing or names or pretty faces or whatever, but we want leaders who are going to be humble and be able to serve our people with great diligence and humility. And those leaders that you are in the process of electing now, and I know your election process is not concluded, just keep in mind that those are the types of leaders that we want. Because those types of leaders are those who will be able to take us forward. And the ANC, comrades, as an organization, we must also learn from our past mistakes. Where we've made errors, we must admit them and correct them. Because in that way, we will be able to renew ourselves and to rebuild ourselves. The National Conference in December did precisely that. The leadership that will be elected at this conference will be given a clear and firm mandate to lead that process of fundamental renewal. In the past, we've been talking about renewal, but I do firmly believe that the renewal of our movement is firmly underway, and it is irreversible. We are no longer going back to where we were a few years ago. The ANC is becoming renewed, we're becoming united, and we are becoming cohesive. Much as others, when they look at us, they think we're not united. We are united, and we are getting united by the day, by the week, by the month, and by the hour. Now, our members, our structures have given us the task to forge unity, also here in the province. The province has been defined by disunity. That's why it took so long for us to get where we are. But now we are here. And beyond this, it means that ANC in the Western Cape is now united. You are a representation of that unity. Let us now take what you have demonstrated here forward to our branches, to our complete organization here in the Western Cape. But it must also be principled unity based on the common commitment to the values and the principles of the ANC. We should not use the idea of unity to excuse behavior that undermines our movement, that is used to shield people who are involved in various deviant activities, and those who should be held accountable who will escape being accountable. This leadership must confront also the challenges of the national question here in the Western Cape. And the first part that I want to congratulate you for is that your top 5 has been drawn from 5 regions here in the Western Cape. Now, we don't often get it that right in many places. Now, that is why I say you are standing out as a really good example for the organization. You have had the wisdom to draw your leadership, the top 5 from the 5 regions, and I hope that when you finally finalize the election of your PEC, that too will be clearly demonstrated in the spread of the leadership. And here we've had the challenge of the national question here in the Western Cape. And as comrades, we must face up to it and be able to deal with it and to get to grips with it. Between, yes, African and colored people in our province, within our own organization and across society. We must know that it must be dealt with. We need to take seriously the perception that the ANC does not recognize the needs and interests of colored people, and it is a perception. And the structure of your top 5 shows that we are debunking that perception. We are demonstrating that. We also need to demonstrate how the ANC has worked consistently to improve the conditions of our people who have been dispossessed and disadvantaged and exploited under apartheid. We must show that collectively. At the same time, we must consider whether we, by our actions and our statements, we may have contributed to this perception and what it is that we need to do differently. There are certain parties that have mushroomed and coming up that are sort of plying on these divisions of our national groups. Now, the strength of our movement, when our forefathers and our foremothers formed this organization, they said we must get rid of the demons that have dogged our nation for the longest time. We must destroy the demons of tribalism, of national groups. Having just come back from Europe, where Europe has had tribal wars, one tribe fighting another over more than 500 years, we as a nation have demonstrated that, yes, we can be united. And it is also here in the Western Cape that we must demonstrate that we can be united as a people, and the leadership you have chosen is a clear demonstration of that. And thank you very much for doing so. At the same time, we need to ensure that our organization, yes, continues to reflect this diversity that I'm talking about. And this will not be achieved on its own, comrades. It requires a deliberate program to engage with the broad range of South African society and ensure that there is a clear place for all of us, Africans, colored, Indians, and white people, as envisaged in the Freedom Charter, within our own structures and in our leadership collective, which you are already doing. And I want us to live it, to demonstrate that we are different from all these other organizations that are mushrooming. We are South Africans, united in our diversity, united as South Africans, and that unity is shown in the African National Congress. One of the tasks given to this leadership is to support and advance the cause of the emancipation of women. We must ensure that women must be able to participate equally and without hindrance in the activities of our movement. And the ANC needs to address patriarchal attitudes and practices within its own structures. This is a challenge and a matter that we need to address, because sometimes it is underground and we need to take it to the surface and deal with it. We need to identify and address all factors that limit the participation of women across all spheres of society. If we are to effectively address the needs of our people, we need to be able to exercise the levers that we have, particularly at state, be it at national level, provincial level, yes, even at local government level. We need to be able to develop even laws and undertake programs that direct the capabilities and resources of government to alleviate poverty, providing quality services to our people, creating, yes, employment and promoting sustainable development. As the ANC, we need here in the Western Cape, and obviously nationally as well, to recover the ground that we have lost in recent elections. That is going to have to be our primary task. We need to outline a clear path towards achieving a clear majority in the provincial legislature, in the Cape Town Metro, and in other municipalities across the province. We have it within us, comrades, to achieve this goal. We must never think that it is an impossible goal. And I'd like you as the Western Cape to surprise everyone, to surprise even those within our own ranks who sometimes think that, no, the Western Cape for the ANC is a lost cause. We are not a lost cause. We can achieve a clear majority. And we need to appreciate the amount of work we need to do to convince our people here in the Western Cape that we are capable of also serving their interests. We need to convince them that we are best placed to improve their lives and to build a province that is more equal, more inclusive, and more prosperous. And in the end, only the African National Congress can achieve that task. No one else is armed with policies. No one else is armed with the ability to be able to do so. We can also do it here in the Western Cape, as we are going to do it throughout the country. People often ask me, are you going to win the next election? I say, that is a very silly question. We are going to win the next election without any doubt. And we need to show, winning an election means that we need to be united. If we are not united ourselves, we start off as losers. But if we are united, as they say, united we stand, divided we fall. Now, if the ANC is united, both here in the Western Cape and nationally, then victory is certain. Victory is ascertained. So, comrades, let us start off by consolidating the unity that you have shown here in order for us, indeed, to be able to take on all the others who are contesting us and succeed. As we progress along the path, our approach to governance must be informed with what is in the best interest of our people. Among other things, this means that our approach to coalitions must be informed by the NEC guidelines. And in my own head, I don't think of coalitions because it's going to be a straight win, straight victory. But we need guidelines to be able to do so. So, comrades, we know that we are less than a year, effectively 10 months, I would say, from the next national and provincial elections. This is an opportunity for us to demonstrate how the ANC in the Western Cape has changed. As we move from here, we must be able to show our people, both in our metro, both in our towns, and both in the rural areas, how we have changed and how the ANC, yes, keeps on maturing, and how we are dealing with various challenges and how we are now going to be fully involved in the lives of our people. This is also an opportunity, comrades, to show the ANC in the Western Cape as an effective campaigning organization that is able to mobilize voters behind fundamental change. It is not our task simply to show how the current provincial government is failing the poor people and the working class in our province, but to demonstrate that we can and will do, and what we will do to address the deep fault lines here in the Western Cape. In the January 8th statement, we said that one of our foremost priorities is economic reconstruction and recovery and to create jobs. We said the task of ensuring that all South Africans share in the country's wealth is far from complete. The country's unequal distribution of wealth and income is still largely characterized by racial, spatial, and gender demographics of our colonial as well as apartheid past. In working to reduce this inequality in wealth and income, we need to create employment on a far greater scale than we have achieved to date. Admitting that for many years, our economy has not really been able to create the many jobs that can give a good livelihood to our people. This means the economy needs to grow faster, and we need to attract far greater levels of investment. Now, through our ambitious investment drive, we have attracted over 1.5 trillion rand of investment commitments over the last 5 years. We are also beginning to see progress in major infrastructure investment. As the ANC government, we have been addressing quite a number of issues that will lead to the reform of our economy. We have recognized that the state has a pivotal role to play in creating employment and other economic opportunities. That is why we established the Presidential Employment Stimulus, which has to date created employment as well as livelihood opportunities to more than 1 million people, particularly over the past 2-3 years. However, as we recognize in the January 8th statement, much of the work that we are doing to stimulate investment and to create jobs is being hampered by the electricity crisis that we are going through. Now, despite current levels of load shedding, the reality, comrades, is that we have made important strides over the past 5 years to fix the deep-seated problems in our electricity system. And now we are poised to also go beyond load shedding. We are poised to have much more generators who are going to make sure that, yes, we do have sufficient energy. We have revived the Renewable Energy Independent Producers Program, which was stuck, and we've removed even the licensing threshold for further generation, and thereby unlocking massive investment in generation capacity. Quite a lot of it is happening in the Western Cape, in the Northern Cape, in the Southern Cape, yes, and we are going to see, in the Eastern Cape as well, we are going to see much more activity that will bring on board more electricity generation. Our immediate task is to reduce the severity of load shedding now and ultimately in the near future, and to end it all. Now, the plan that we announced a year ago is beginning to take effect, and in time we will be seeing lesser and lesser of load shedding as we go on. And with this, comrades, we have streamlined quite a lot of interventions that have to take place to ensure that, yes, we end load shedding. But load shedding is not going to end overnight. But we have a clear plan, a clear path to solve the electricity crisis. Now, communities across the Western Cape, and indeed across the country, we know the fear and the feeling that people have. There's been anger, there's been frustration, and there have been all those. And we fully understand the way our communities have been responding to this challenge. But what I can say is that we are addressing it and as effectively as we can. The other major challenge that we are dealing with right now is the fear that our people have with regard to their own safety, crime and violence. As the ANC government, we've been working to strengthen the police to prevent crime and improve the capacity also of the National Prosecuting Authority so that those who get involved in criminal activity can be dealt with as effectively as possible through our criminal justice system. We have said that one of our tasks as the ANC is to ensure that communities play an active role in campaigns and initiatives to safeguard, to make sure that there is safety, there's security, and there is peace and stability in our communities. This means that we need to strengthen our community policing forums and improve the resources that they have so that they can ensure that there is safety and security, but also to make sure that the police work effectively and to root out whatever negative elements and corrupt elements within our own police service, because sometimes that is precisely where the problem is. And we need to root that out so that we have a police service that is going to serve the people of our country effectively. Similarly, ANC branches have an important role to play in this regard. But they also have an important role to play when it comes to gender-based violence and femicide. We are making progress in a number of areas, but an ANC branch must have structures that will be dedicated to areas such as gender-based violence, community policing forums, education, health matters, and so forth. Once you have all those substructures in your branches, then we will know that our branches are intimately involved in the lives of our communities. We are also making progress, comrades, in the fight against corruption, despite what many continue to say. Guided by the mandate of the 54th National Conference, over the last 5 years, we have done much to dismantle state-captured networks in state-owned enterprises, in law enforcement agencies, as well as entities. And we have made significant progress in rebuilding many of these institutions, as well as restoring their integrity. Many of our institutions had been captured. And when we talk about improving and rebuilding the capability of the state, this is precisely one of the areas that we are talking about. The work of the State Capture Commission has not only revealed the nature and extent of these criminal activities, but has also given us the means to ensure that these activities are never allowed to happen again. And we will make sure, as we strengthen the state, that state capture does not happen again. The African National Congress is committed to making sure that it doesn't happen. Now, we have often said, comrades, our problems are many, but we have said we need to prioritize. The Deputy President and myself have been meeting individual ministers and making sure that the priorities that have been identified and set out are actually implemented, and actually we have delivery around those. And we have been saying to each of the ministers, we want a report within 6 months so that we can hear and see what each one of our deployees have done in that period. Because now is the time for real action. It is no longer the time for talk. It is now the time to act and to improve the lives of our people. And we are going to make sure that it happens. Comrades, we have often said that our progress as a nation cannot be separated from the progress of the African continent as a whole. We therefore continue to work to bring about peace and stability to Africa and to ensure that the African Continental Free Trade Area, the trade treaty that we have, is implemented. Our foreign policy stance is informed by the understanding that, yes, the multilateral system in the world is respected so that all nations in the world can feel that, yes, their sovereignty is respected and they can participate in a multilateral system. And we continue to deepen and strengthen that multilateral approach to international matters. There have been concerted efforts that have been embarked upon and spoken of to draw South Africa into broader geopolitical contests on a number of issues, but especially with regard to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Yet we have consistently maintained our non-aligned stance, our respect also for the UN Charter, and for the peaceful resolution of conflicts through dialogue. Now, our country was part of the delegation of African leaders that recently visited Ukraine and Russia to promote a peaceful resolution of conflict. All the way, traveling thousands of miles, going to Europe and going to intervene in a conflict which many would have thought, why do we even bother to go there? Our main concern is to prevent further loss of life, harm and destruction, yes, in that part of the world, in Ukraine, through the cessation of hostilities and the achievement of lasting peace. And one of the things we sought to do, to go and share an African perspective, and in our case, to give them the Nelson Mandela Lesson 101 on peace, on how peace can be achieved. We are also concerned about the broader impact of the conflict, no doubt, especially on African countries that are experiencing food shortages and higher prices, and also, yes, having an impact on food security for us as well, because that part of the world produces grains that we also import, as well as fertilizers whose prices have shot up. And we therefore need to emphasize to South Africans that the importance of our involvement is based on the quest for peace, so that that conflict is resolved, even though it is far away from where we are, because it is having a negative impact on our people as well. So we need to reiterate our position that South Africa will continue to maintain an independent foreign policy stance and to use our presence in international affairs to promote dialogue and a peaceful resolution to conflict. We are going to be holding the BRICS summit in August. And yes, that BRICS summit is going to take place, it's going to go on. And we will be outlining precisely how that summit is going to be held. There's a great deal of impatience. They want to know, is so-and-so coming, or is so-and-so not coming, and all that. And I've often said, yes, we will make that announcement, we will make that knowledge known to everyone. So people are very impatient, and I see the media is also here. As I leave, they'll want to know, is so-and-so really coming or not? So we will address that question, because it is important. South Africa has an important standing in the world. Our country is highly respected in terms of its standing, its views, and indeed the role that we play, not only in the world broadly, but also on our continent. And therefore, we will want to continue to play that role responsibly, particularly in the interests of our people. Because what we do globally is in the interests of South Africa and in the interests of our continent, Africa. And that is what we are going to continue promoting and safeguarding. Comrades, 40 years ago, on the 20th of August in 1983, the United Democratic Front was launched in this city. So this city is very important. Very historic moments have been held here. We remember this event as a turning point in our history. The UDF was a powerful mass-based movement that mobilized South Africans at grassroots level against apartheid and for the achievement of democracy. As we confront the challenges of the present, we should draw lessons of how our people and our various formations were united under the United Democratic Front, which drew a great deal of inspiration as well as leadership from the African National Congress. We need to revive the activism that was exemplified in the UDF. We need to rebuild a broad front of individuals, a broad front of groups and formations to work together for transformation of our society. We need to reaffirm the principle and practice of non-racialism, ensuring that South Africans of all races can take part in this effort. There is going to be a celebration, an anniversary of the formation of the UDF, and we would like our structures to participate in that, to be part of that, because the formation of the UDF here in this province as well as in this city is an important moment that we need to draw inspiration from, and we need to use to activize our own structure. So this provincial conference must mark the start of a new era. in the ANC here in the Western Cape. An era, as I've been saying, of unity, of rebuilding, of revitalization. And comrades, the hard work starts now. Not only to prepare for the 2024 elections, but to build a powerful ANC. And I'm glad that Comrade JJ, your provincial chair, has put that as one objective that the leadership that has been elected here is going to focus on. And it should be the ANC that is going to serve the people of the Western Cape, just like the UDF united various individuals, leaders, and formations. Let us repeat that feat once again and make sure that the ANC occupies that space with dedication and care. Through the work that we do and through the progress that we achieve, through the popular support that we have, and believe you me, comrades, the people of our country still support the African National Congress. They still love the ANC. And we must rekindle that love. We must get them back as the African National Congress. So we must say to them, we want the love that you have always had for the ANC back. Those who have ever fallen in love and lost love, they will know what love back means. So we want that love back. So, and we will be able, the comrades, to achieve that if we are united. So let us go out to our branches, to our communities, to where we all have come from, and go and reach out to our people and say, yes, we would like you back within the influence and the fold of the African National Congress. And this we should do by being activists. And I've often been saying that, comrades, we will win this election by doing what we have always done. And it is only the ANC that holds the intellectual property over this. We have the expertise to reach out to our people one-on-one. And that is how we will be able to win the election. There's no other organization that has wall-to-wall coverage. Wherever you go, you will get the ANC. Whether you hide or not, the ANC will be there, and let us go and light that fire and bring our people back so that we can win the next elections and serve our people. Mandla! Amandla! Thank you very much, and I will be back. I'll be back to work with you in all the regions, in all the zones of the ANC, so that we achieve maximum victory for the African National Congress. Mandla!
Amandla, comrade, 2 announcements. The Poland region and Tala Omar should vote. And all those who have not voted must proceed to voting. As we come to an end of the conference, all the outstanding work of commissions and program, this new leadership will arrange a special PGC to conclude that work. Can you now rise and sing the national anthem? And someone's bag has been found is here. If you identify with this bag, come and collect it. Millicent. Can INSAF lead us to national anthem? You can come here, INSAF. Oh.
South Africa. Die blauw van onze hemel, uit die diepte van ons Heer. Voor ons eeuwige geberte, waar die kranse antwoord gee. Sounds the call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
Very nervous. You didn't tell me before the time.
Abu said Papa.
Where's Doggy?
Can we take a proper photo from there? Can we take a proper photo? Yeah, come stand here.
Doggy, yeah. Doggy. Okay, go, Doggy. Doggy.
Sharon, that's the school. In the morning. And your child, next week. Yeah, next week. Just yes. Okay. How do I get those? Leadership. Thank you, leadership. That's okay. There's also plastic.
Hoe vaak?
Yeah, it's all African leadership.